going to be a quick one. 3:24 p.m. Monday, April 13th, 2026. On Wikipedia, if you go to IMEC, and search for India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor. IMEC. IMEC, that's the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. You can actually see a photo here of a recent G20 talking about the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor with Prime Minister or President Modi of India next to, this is Biden of the United States at the time. It looks like was that Janet Yellen, and we have the United UAE there, Saudi Arabia, the European Commission, and, of course, a couple of blonde girls. That guy looks like Gianta Bhattacharya. I know that isn't, but anyways, the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, commonly abbreviated as IMEC, sometimes referred to as the IMEEC, is a planned economic corridor that aims to bolster economic development by fostering connectivity and economic integration between Asia, the Persian Gulf, and Europe. The corridor is a proposed route from India to Europe through the United Arab Emirates, where I think there's like several 100,000 people from India living in the UAE or something ridiculous like that. Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Greece. The route draws on what is now described as the ancient Golden Road. The project was launched to bolster transportation and communication links between Europe and Asia through rail and shipping networks and is seen as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative. I've heard of China's Belt and Road Initiative. I didn't know it was China's Belt and Road Initiative. I thought it was just a worldwide Belt and Road Initiative. Sadly, I've not heard of IMEC. The Memorandum of Understanding document has only mapped out the potential geography of a corridor and will compete against the current trade routes going through the Suez Canal. The project has been delayed due to the ongoing Gaza war. The route is currently being used to bypass the Houthi blockade. How many people knew that? And is widely seen as a way to future-proof the India, Europe, U.S. supply chain, avoiding the Suez Canal. In June of 2024, the Indo-Mediterranean Initiative, the IMI, was started, aiming to track the progress of IMEC. IMEC got a new lease and enthusiasm. IMEC got a new lease, and enthusiasm has returned to the project during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit to the White House. Isn't that interesting? After the inauguration of President Trump, he said, quote, "We agreed to work together to help build one of the greatest trade routes in all of history. It will run from India to Israel, to Italy, and onward to the United States, connecting our partners, roads, railways, and undersea cables. Many undersea cables," said the United States President. During European Commission President von der Leyen's visit to India on February 27th and 28th of 2025, both leaders agreed on the importance of IMEC, the exception of the excerpt of the joint statement read, quote, "Undertake concrete steps for the realization of the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC." And it was announced during the G20 Leaders Summit in New Delhi. It's a long article here. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit here, and I'm going to show you the map. Now, the map here, of course, has much, from India. I have a difficult time pronouncing some of these names. Jawaharlal is there. And it has trade routes. There's the Blue Roman cable. I guess that's the internet cable. But there's also going to be shipping and trade routes across Saudi Arabia. And most interestingly, a lot of it's going to be bypassing the Strait of Hormuz, or however it's properly pronounced. And most of these routes are going to be going through Israel and Gaza. And then they go on to Italy, Europe, and so on. Now, in the future, if India were to need oil from another place in the world, such as Canada or the United States, the corridor would also serve as the primary route. So as you can see here, look at the corridor. It's India, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and then Europe and the United States. Going around the south tip of Africa is kind of a pain in the neck. It's a long route. If you want to go through the Panama Canal, well, that's a bit of a pain. Who are you going to be paying to in that? In this case, it's India because India, I don't think, has a lot of energy on its own. And while there's, I guess, a lot of oil reserves in Iran, I don't know. I mean, who really knows where the energy is, right? Why would they show their hand? But it is reasonable to believe that the greatest reserves of easily available, highly efficient oils around the world might actually be throughout Northern Europe, Canada, United States, Venezuela, Gulf of Mexico, and Russia. More so than other places on Earth. I mean, it could be elsewhere, but right now it's not crazy to think that. Okay, and this war, which is pinching right now, I guess the access to the Persian Gulf would be a nice way for India to have a energy pipeline and trade pipeline to the Americas and to Europe. After all, India is the world's fastest growing economy. It's the world's fastest growing middle class populace. They have a very solid 20 to 80 years ahead of them. Very solid. Now, eventually, they may ultimately also have population problems that other countries run into, lower birth rates and so on. But right now, they are set for explosive growth. And the numbers don't lie. You can look at all of the nice investments made in South Korea, for example, but nobody, and I mean almost literally nobody in South Korea is having a child. It's to the point where the government is thinking of outlawing dogs. It's ridiculous. India has a big future, and this pipeline or the IMEC corridor does build upon a concept that's been floated around for 50 years called the Trans-Arabian Pipeline or TAP line. I don't know if the TAP line is referred to here. Either way, look, I'm not afraid of these things. I think it's great that there's all of this collaboration ongoing around the world. I think it'd be good for everyone. I'm upset, being an American, that there are serious problems within the United States that are getting overlooked and buried because of initiatives and because of lying podcasters. Either way, and this would be another reason why you would want to keep the conversation focused on some things and not on other things. Now, in this case, Israel is a big part of this pipeline. There's just way too many different nations that would need to be tracked if you want to go through Africa or through Europe. So Israel and Gaza, and it just so happens that the very last visit that was done by Prime Minister Modi of India before the United States operations in Iran, this military conflict in Iran, it was with Israel. Israel has made no secret, and India has made no secret that they are among the closest of partners and getting closer. India is currently the largest purchaser of military equipment out of Israel, but nobody will talk about it. In particular on alternative media, mainstream media, you'll hear some conversation about India, but alternative media is mostly paid through I don't know where the tap comes from, but there's a general rule: you don't mention India. India just doesn't exist. If Infowars was asked to draw a map, they would show Iran and then some blurriness and then Vietnam. Like there's nothing in between, right? So alternative media is here to say Israel controls the world or something ridiculous like that, which is absurd. There must be like 80 cities in India that are bigger than all of Israel. Maybe it's 20. So the thought that Israel just controls everything is absurd. Israel's a small territory with a few million people in it that it is really working at the behest and has been as used for other far greater, far more bigger interests. And India right now also has its own identity crisis, having to deal with is it a single nation? What's their conflict ongoing? Is there really is it really more of a Hindu nationalist nation? Banking interest, outside banking interests are coming into India. So they have their own things. It's not like they're all on the same page either. However, with the United States, with this weird war against Iran over a nuclear weapon, in combination with Israel, what's really going on here? And I will not tell you that I have a complete picture of what's going on here, but I will offer you this. You are wasting your time, and you're wasting your money, you're wasting your cycles, you're wasting your hours on earth and in your life if you are trying to have any meaningful conversation about the world right now and not saying India. It's that simple. So you never have to mention my program. That's okay. But you are a fool if you leave this program and never mention India elsewhere. Sorry. No, I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt, but that's it. One thing that I've done is I've gone to other programs, and you can go to YouTube and you can open the channel page for other programs. Just type in the word India and then type in Israel or Pakistan. As a matter of fact, let's do a live exercise right now, shall we? Let's just go to YouTube, okay? The redacted channel, okay? And let's see India. All right, so 11 months ago, they mentioned India. 2 months ago, India, but it's not in the title. War with Pakistan and India 11 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 months ago, 3 years ago. So really, like on average, like once every 7 months, Redacted has a show with the word India in the title. Actually, it works out to be 1 out of every 7 months. They have a show with the word India in the title. Now, let's look at Israel. All right, let's search for Israel. Israel was in the title 4 days ago. Let's see. 4 days ago, 1 month ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, 1 month ago, 1 month ago, 1 month ago, 1 month ago. Basically, every single day. Every single day, Redacted does a video with Israel in the title versus once out of every 6 months. Now, why is that? Now, I'm willing to submit that Israel has a higher higher GDP per capita than India. Because it's the truth, right? I'm willing to acknowledge that on average, let's just say, the average person in Israel probably has a higher degree than the person in India today. Of course, we can admit, right? But is it reasonable to accept the fact that Israel, with an economy that's only like 5% the size of India, that Israel with only 1% the population of 1% the population of India, less than 1% actually, somehow, do the math, right, is 140 times more relevant in India? How is that possible? It's not possible. It's impossible. So what these shows do is they talk endlessly about one thing, and then it's like trying to understand a checkmate on a chessboard by covering 20% of the spaces. You can't do it. That's what fake alternative media is. And the thing is that it's not that Israel is a different topic than India. I suggest to you this. I believe that this is orchestrated so that people only think Israel is to be noticed. And if I were Israel, it is also reasonable to believe that Israel is doing this as part of a show in coordination with the UN and India and possibly the United States. Why not? So you have outrageous things. You have Israeli politicians, just saying outrageous things, intentionally outrageous. I'm surprised they just don't stage photos of them, throwing money at criminals and then getting babies and throwing them in trunks. I mean, why not just stage it all out? Of course they're going to stage it because it's a play. It's a school play. It's all scripted. It's scripted to get everyone's anger and eyes on one part and to ignore the bigger picture. That's exactly how all of this works. So you can learn a lot by what's mentioned and by what's not mentioned. And certainly, there's no reason for podcasts to talk about India in general. But if you're going to talk about world geopolitics, if you're going to talk about energy, if you want to talk about the future of AI, the AI summit, by the way, last year was in India, you have to talk about the important things. So trying to understand through the lens of Israel supports pedophiles is a waste of your time. It's totally absurd. Look at IMEC, read the IMEC page, just to get the general idea. Note that it's much the same thing as, or it's actually a greatly expanded use case of TAPline or the Trans-Arabian, Trans-Saudi Arabia pipeline. It does involve the United States. I'm surprised Canada isn't checked on this map. I think the fact that there's a lot of energy reserves also in Venezuela, that plays in. Venezuela's president was a big supporter of the Satya Sai Baba religion in India. So I think India lost some say in Venezuela before the Iran war. But I think that there's a lot more collusion going on here than anyone's willing to acknowledge. And this is I'm very intrigued at the fact that the summits were held in Pakistan. I don't know what else to say, and we probably should have seen this coming for a very, very long time. I mean, let's see here. After all, I'm just going to throw a few of these little video shorts in here. Why not, right? I can go to my homepage. I can look at my liked videos. Where's my liked videos? So this is the opening of the Taj Mahal Hotel, the Trump Taj Mahal Motel in 1990.
At the historic meeting of Showbiz and Big Biz,
with
music's
Michael
magic man
Jackson.
and the Midas mogul ran the media gauntlet to open the world's glitziest casino. Donald Trump gave Michael Jackson a personal tour of his $1.2 billion extravaganza. If the Taj Mahal Casino is the eighth wonder of the world, on that day it seemed the beloved Glove one ranked ninth. Away from the throng, I asked Donald if bringing in Michael was his ultimate trump card.
To have Michael at the Taj Mahal, he's my friend, he's a tremendous talent, and it's really my honor. It's a big day for me.
We stayed up close when Donald escorted his superstar guests to the High Rollers penthouse suite. Of 1,250 deluxe accommodations on 51 marbled floors, special visitors are given the key to a $10,000 a day super suite. The palace within a palace thrilled Michael, but Donald was quick to point out it's only one of the Taj's temptations. Spoiling guests is a Taj Mahal trademark. Donald next took us to the casino's restaurants. In one reserved for VIPs, where Michael was flanked by tiny fans, there are no menus. Its gourmet chefs will create anything you wish. But Donald was quick to point out it's only one at the historic meeting.
President Trump visits the Taj Mahal. It's right there. I can't believe it. It's right there in front of everybody. This one. This is better. Oh, yeah. Oh, so beautiful. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife recently at the Taj Mahal.
Ooh, smile, guys. Look at Shannon, look at Luke, look at Patrick, and smile. We're not jet lagged. We're just having a great time at the Taj Mahal. Look at
I did notice something very peculiar in this.
Rachel.
Where's Rachel?
And you could download this on your own. For some reason, when Vice President J.D. Vance is standing in front of the Taj Mahal, he doesn't have his American flag lapel on. Now, he could have easily forgot it. I don't know. I think that's a little weird because he seems to pretty reliably have that on. So either he forgot it, which, it happens, or it's disturbing a decision was made. Look, if the president of India or China or whomever were to be visiting the United States on a diplomatic mission, I think it would be totally appropriate if they maintained their flag on their lapel or whatever their outfit is, acknowledging that they are a proud representative and son or daughter of their nation. There's nothing offensive about that. I think it's actually beautiful. So it's a little weak. So I'm going to hope that J.D. Vance simply forgot it that day, because if he didn't, it's weak. All right? It's weak. It goes from being a wonderful sign, a diplomatic visit, to submission and bending the knee and working for somebody else. Gee, it's amazing that people think that Israel, a nation the size of Massachusetts, actually the state of Massachusetts in the United States has a bigger economy and is more powerful than Israel. People think it's totally reasonable that the United States could totally succumb and be working at the behest and be a slave of a small territory smaller than the state of Massachusetts. But the possibility that a nation with almost 8 times as many people or 6 times as many people and soon to be the world's 3rd largest economy, a nation whose people run many of the tech companies right now in the United States of America and currently owns the National Institutes of Health in the United States of America. For some reason, people think it's ridiculous that the United States could have a really awkward and terrible entanglement with that nation. It's odd. It's almost as if most people who do analysis simply that the one thing that they can't do is think. But anyways, you could watch other videos. You could watch the Jared Kushner video, bending the knee before the Taj Mahal, Ivana Trump bending the knee before the Taj Mahal, Steve Bannon going to the Taj Mahal. You can view all of them. It's funny. It's almost like every single person on the fake alt-right likes to go to the Taj Mahal and submit to something, which is fine, but it's also kind of, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Point is that look at it this way. I don't want to have a broadcast where I'm the only person talking about this. I don't. I'm sick of it. I don't want to be that person. But you know what? I guess the United States is in a war right now, and there's people getting killed, and now there's a blockade on this heavily used trade route, and people are getting mad and yelling and throwing money around, trying to understand what's going around, and not a single person is willing to say, hey, what about this IMEC? What about the India connection here? And they're all like, oh, I don't know, India, never heard of it. So anyways, little quick rant session here. IMEC. You want to know what's going on? IMEC. Should be part of your conversation. And if it isn't, well, you're just wasting your time. And you get to see other people wasting their time. I'm sorry I'm so sour. Again, it is an emotional time of year. And this year, it's really rubbing salt in the wound right now as things just get further and further away from any type of, at least publicly, resolution or security. The best thing to do right now is to look, if you want to be in the game of being online, is to look at all the pieces on the board. If you don't want to do that, if you just want to be mad at Epstein and Israel or something ridiculous like that, well, you're wasting your time. You got to look at all the pieces. Otherwise, just don't look at all. Just ignore it, and that's okay too, right? But certainly don't waste your time with an incomplete, useless view of the world so that you could be part of some tribal group. Don't do that. So if you want to be in the game, great. If you want to be in the game, Think about where the world future power is. Think about IMEC. So that's it, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Trump Taj Mahal Casino. By the way, it didn't have a name until after the person who created it died. That wasn't in the Whitney Webb book. Take care. God bless.